All right. So, welcome everyone to the Spring 2026 New International Student Orientation. I know we met a few of you already, and some of you are still traveling over here, but we're very excited to meet you guys. It's going to be a small crew coming in the spring, but we're excited to see everyone that is able to make it and getting an approved visa. Like I mentioned, today we will be talking about some important information pertaining to maintaining your immigration status, as well as just some other fun things such as the weather, which is obviously if you're already in town, you can see that we're in the middle of winter right now. It's cold, it's snowy, so we will get into it. Again, welcome to Michigan Tech. We're happy to have you here. Obviously, our department mostly handles things pertaining to your immigration status, but we kind of tailor ourselves as like your home away from home. Everyone comes to us, when they don't know where else to go. And so we're here for you guys to be your support system because we know that the transition might not be the easiest. So definitely come to us if you need anyone to talk to. Meeting the staff. So we are our first day back from vacation for the holidays. So in terms of the actual full-time staff members, normally we have four in the office. However, today there's just two of us here, but Christian Montesinos is our director. He is a PDSO RO, and if you will be taking the International Student Success Seminar, he is the teacher of that class. We also have Michelle Borsum. She is the manager of International Student and Scholar Services. So once it comes time to go on CPT or OPT, she is going to be your main contact for that. I am Jamie. I am the International Student and Scholar Advisor. You've probably been receiving a lot of emails from me up until this point. It won't stop now that you're here. You always get emails from us, and they're always important. And then finally, I'm joined here with Mariana, if you wanted to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Mariana, and I'm the administrative aide, and I'm also a DSO. So I will be in the office when you come. I'm probably a student worker, will be the first people that you see when you come in the office.
Mhm. And speaking of student workers, typically these are going to be the two that you will see when you come into the office. They'll be right out front. Victor and Farida are both international students as well. Victor is from Nigeria, Farida is from Ghana, and she has graced us with her presence today because she can't stay away from the office. So she's going to help us do this presentation since we don't have our full staff here. Farida, did you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your experience at Tech?
You've pretty much said it all. My name is Farida. I'm from Ghana and I'm a student office assistant here. I am doing my master's in biological sciences and I've been here for a year.
Mhm. So she is our expert. She was similar to you where she came in the winter as well. So if you need any pointers,
Hmm.
definitely reach out to Farida. And so moving into now, like I said, the kind of basis of now that you're here on campus, now that you're here in the United States, where should you start? Um, so first things first will be the IPS check-in. And this slide, as well as some of the next that are coming up, are more what we call the mandatory checklist. And so now that you're here, these are the steps that you'll need to complete. So the first one, the main one, like we say, is reporting to our department. So we are located in the administration building in room 200. And when you come to check in with our department, you will need to bring your I-20 if you're an F1 student, your DS 2019 if you're a J1 student, and then your visa and passport. We do have to scan all of these documents for our new students and add them into your records. So be sure that you have those when you come to our office. Again, once you come in, we will have a mandatory checklist with information as well on your next steps. But this is all posted on our website as well, under our newly admitted students website. I know we had a student check in earlier that talked about all the stuff he knew he had to do because of our website, and I was so proud. So definitely check that out. Everything that you'll need is there, but we'll go over it again when you check in. So the first thing under the reporting to IPS is the printing your I-94. So your I-94 is a travel form that shows that you entered the country legally. And so what we require is that you carry this with you at all times. We would prefer you to print a physical copy of this, and you can do so in the library on campus. You can use the computers and the printers. However, A downloaded version is okay, but just be sure that you download it to your phone. So that way, in this area, there's a lot of places that don't have cell service. So you'll want to be sure that you can access it even if you don't have service. So up to you. Physical copy is always better though. If you will be living on campus, you will want to check in with the housing office. I know a lot of the flights are coming in at like 12:30 at night, and so obviously the housing department isn't open at that time. If you are a contract holder in Daniel Heights, though, you can stop at public safety on campus when you get to campus, and then they can get you your key. They do have the copies there. So that'll be something to keep in mind, especially like I said, if you are arriving late. Picking up your Michigan Tech Husky card. I don't have mine with me, but your Michigan Tech Husky card is a photo ID, and you can use it to access the printers on campus. There's other facilities where you can use it, tap access to get into certain doors. The library has a 24-hour section on campus that you can tap in after hours and still go in and use the library. So that'll be something you'll want to pick up. Health insurance, you are required to have health insurance as an international F or J1 student. Like I said, we don't handle this kind of stuff, but you can always come to us to just know where to start. Michigan Tech does have a student insurance department though, and so you can always send an email to them or stop by their office once you do arrive on campus, because again, you'll want to be sure that you have that. Otherwise, there will be a hold on your account for the future and you won't be able to register for classes or graduate. And so very, very important. Paying your student bill. Again, this is very important. Bills are actually due today at 4 p.m. You will incur a late charge if you pay it after that rate. But if you wait, I believe it's like a 2-week deadline. If you haven't paid your bill in 2 weeks, all of your classes will be dropped. And obviously, as an international student, you need to be enrolled full time. And so that, I think, if you're on campus today, that should be a priority, is getting that figured out. Submitting your transcripts. Again, like I said, I will share the slides afterwards so you can click this link, but all of your transcripts, all of your proof of degree will be sent to the graduate school, which again is on the same building as ours, which is the administration building, and they are on the 4th floor. So if you have any questions for that, you'll reach out to them. They handle the academic side of things for that type of stuff. Another one, like I said right here, which is why it's in yellow, is to update your United States mailing address once you are moved into your residence in the area. This is very, very important because we cannot activate your SEVIS record until you have that United States address on file. And I know a lot of people as well, we always just say mailing address because I know that your home address is currently your home country and technically you moved here, but your home address will stay your home address. We still do need that foreign address as your home because you're an international student. So when you go in there, be sure that you only update the mailing. Because like I said, you've been receiving all the emails from me, and if you don't update your address, you'll be receiving the emails as well. And when it comes time for us to start activating records, we don't want to have to hunt you down for an address and have your record be terminated. And again, like I said about our star student that checked in earlier, our website has all of the information you will need and more to help you with your transition. Obviously, we know people like face-to-face communication. It's a lot easier and easier to clarify. But if you're ever stressed about something and you're looking for an answer, it's as easy as typing MTU IPS reduce course load, and we have a web page for it. So definitely check out that. And as well as our email as well. We have all of our international students on an email list. Everything that we send out is very important. So whether it is immigration reminders, events that are coming up, or whatever it may be, definitely read all of those emails because there is important information in there as well and reminders for you. All right, so I know I kind of touched on a lot of this already with the check-in pieces, but there are some main things that you must follow in order to be maintaining your immigration status. So again, the first thing is that health insurance. You'll want to be sure that you have that sorted out. If you are a supported PhD student, your department will likely be taking care of this health insurance. However, you can just double check with your supervisor. Again, reporting all of your address changes in your Experience Ellucian account. And it's actually a federal requirement to do this within 10 days. And so be sure that you do that. Again, it's always a precautionary thing. We don't want the government to come to town looking for someone and you're not where you say you are. So definitely keep that up to date. And make sure to check for any hours, or not hours, errors, sorry. Because I know the biggest thing that we see is the date format, because we know in other countries the day goes first and then the month and then the year. And so when people are updating their address, they always get an error when they add their address like that, because here it's month, day, year. So just keep in mind, if you get an error and can't update your address, be sure to look at what that error is. And again, any changes, like I said, anything pertaining to your immigration status, we are here to help. We are here to support. However, your immigration status is your responsibility. So if something changes with your degree, so if you change your major, if you do a change of level and start doing a PhD, if you change your address, whatever it may be, you always have to report these changes to us just to be sure that your record is up to date at all times. And again, like I said, this is your responsibility, because there are times where a student changes their major, and unless you report that to us, we won't know. So it's always important to just let us know anytime anything changes and just make sure you're good on our end. I know I mentioned maintaining full-time enrollment. So for a graduate student, that is 9 credits. For an undergraduate student, that is 12 credits. So you are required to be enrolled full-time every semester. There are certain exceptions or authorizations in which you can be under-enrolled in those full-time credits, which is also known as a reduced course load, and some of the reasons are listed on this slide here. So a medical illness or condition, you will need documentation, or, some students going into their last semester, they only need one class, 3 credits left, so they can apply for a reduced course load then, without needing, to be considered under-enrolled. They can be authorized for that under-enrolled. And anytime you drop classes, be sure that you talk to us, because again, we get a report 3 times a week once the semester starts, and it tells us what students are not maintaining their full-time requirements. Then you'll receive an email from us. It'll be a warning at first, but if you don't add any classes, we do have to report that. So be sure that you know of your immigration requirements and that you're doing your best to follow them. Online courses. Whoops. So this is a question that we get from a lot of students. So we added this slide in here because we realized as time went on, students are asking us more and more about this. So online courses, international students are only able to take 1 online course per semester. So a majority of your course credits must be in person. So for example, I know a lot of our international students are graduate students. So if your requirement is 9 credits per semester and 1 online course is 3 credits, that's all you can take for online courses. But you still have to make sure that a majority of your credits are still in person. So for example, if you have 2 classes left, your 1 online is 3 credits and your 1 in person is 2 credits, you wouldn't be able to do that because you would have to have a majority be in person. So this is something that you need to keep in mind as you're planning ahead for your semesters, because a lot of the times what happens is students will get in their last semester and only have 1 course remaining and it's online, and obviously you can't do that. So then you're paying more for tuition because you need to add an in-person course. So definitely plan ahead. You are able to take 1 online course, but that is it. There are exceptions though. However, once you go on CPT, you will be enrolling in a 1 credit co-op course through Career Services, and that's enough to consider you fully enrolled. So you can take online courses in addition to that, but we don't normally advise it. CPT we'll talk about a little later, but nothing to worry about right now. But that's just kind of one of the exceptions to that rule. All right, and speaking of employment, on-campus employment, as an F1 student, you are able to work on campus. There's no specific authorization you need for that. As an international student during the academic year, which is the fall and spring semester, you can work up to 20 hours per week. during the semester. So, again, this is something where if you do violate this rule, our director gets a spreadsheet every pay period that will say who went over their 20 hours. Again, at first, things happen, things get mixed up, so it might be a warning the first time, but it is, as a DSO and a PDSO, it is our our job to do that and report that to the government. During breaks, and we also have this information on our website, you can work up to 40 hours per week. So the summer semester is not necessarily considered a required semester. It is considered a break. So you can work up to 40 hours during the summer vacation. Otherwise, there's other breaks like the winter break. So if you were a current student right now, you would be able to technically work 40 hours during this week. Otherwise, Thanksgiving break, spring break are also breaks that are under that. Handshake. So Handshake is an application that a lot of our students use because this is where our departments will post jobs that they have open on campus. So if you are looking for anything, an on-campus job, check out Handshake. Otherwise, if there's a specific department you're interested in working for, you can always reach out to them directly as well. I know we get questions as well, so I'm just going to say this now. Unfortunately, we're not hiring for the spring semester, but if we do ever have any openings, we always send an email to our international students. But yeah, Handshake would be your resource for that. Our career services department, they're actually right down the hall from us, and they're in charge of this Handshake app, and so you can always use them as a resource as well if you're looking for a job. Like I mentioned, CPT, curricular practical training. This is a co-op or internship that international students take while they are still studying. So as international students, you need to be enrolled for a full academic year before you start your CPT. And so for you coming in the spring 2026 semester, you won't be eligible for CPT until spring 2027. So don't worry about it now. Like I said, you can still do on campus, but we do have a website that is dedicated to all things CPT. So if in the fall semester you start looking for some opportunities for internships, check out our website. Again, we don't advise you to take classes during CPT just so you can focus on your employment at that time. I know it's really busy with the employers. Some people work overtime. But yeah, definitely read through that website. There's a lot of information. And optional practical training, that is after graduation employment. So everyone, no matter what your major is able to be authorized for a 12-month OPT after graduation. If you are in an academic program that is one of the STEM majors, you will be also eligible for a 2-year STEM OPT extension. So 1 to 3 years possible. That's why we have that on there. Again, nothing to worry about right now, but as you get closer to the end of your program, you'll start receiving emails about preparing for that. And then I added a little blurb on the right side here about the career fair. So each semester, our career services department has a career fair where they invite different employers from all over the country to come to this career fair, meet our students. They're recruiting. Like I said, you're not eligible for CPT until next year, but it doesn't hurt to go and get that experience. There's actually a lot of recruiters over the years that have said that, there's students that go to them every single time they're there and they remember you. So it's really good if there's companies in the future that you're interested in working with to go there and to make yourself known. You can still bring a resume, but just let them know that you're not eligible yet. Normally, the career fair in the fall is the one that is a lot bigger, but there is one in February as well at the Student Development Complex, and more information will be sent out for that as well when the time gets closer. All right, and that's enough talking from me, so I'm going to move it over to Mariana now.
All right, let's talk about Social Security cards. A Social Security number, also we call SSN, is for employment purposes only. It's not a work permit, but you can apply for a Social Security number when you have a job offer. So if you're a PhD student, you already have a job offer, you can, not right now yet, I believe in 2 weeks, you can start applying for your Social Security number. And if you just came as a master's student, probably in 4 weeks, your record will be activated and you can apply. You can start working without your Social Security number. As a PhD student, you can start receiving your fundings without your Social Security number. But as soon as you can, you should go on our webpage and see what you need to have in order to apply for it. It's really not that complicated. Um, so, as I said here, supported. But for that will be the PhD students. Supported students and students who receive on-campus employment should apply for Social Security number. Please wait to apply for Social Security number 14 days after your I-20 or your DS 2019 have been activated for the first semester. So, like I said, you don't need to rush right now, but in the next 3 weeks, that's something that probably you can start doing. Your record will be activated at the end of the second week of the semester. The Social Security office system takes at least 2 weeks to update from CVS. So yeah, it's probably more like in the 4 weeks period. There is no fee for apply to the Social Security number. So it's free, but like I said, all the information that you need to apply for a Social Security, it is in our webpage, but you are welcome to come. There's also a video on the right-hand side of the webpage where it talks about Social Security and how to apply. And make sure like you don't go to the office directly, but make an appointment over the phone because they don't accept walk-ins. So for applying to your Social Security card, you will need, like you came here with your passport and your visa, you will need your valid I-94, so have the print of that, your I-20 or your DS 2019, the employment verification letter from Michigan Tech, hiring department on letterhead, or your letter from the support that you're receiving as a PhD student. We can give you a support letter too. There's a link in the webpage of how we can do that. And complete the Social Security application that we have a link in it to the webpage, and then you can complete that and bring that with you. Also, we recommend that every student gets, if you're not going to get a driver's license, at least you get an ID card. It's only $10. So, but if you want a driver's license, you have to pass your written test, you have to pass the road test, vision test, and the driving test. So if you pass all these options, you will receive your limited term license. We recommend, so depending what country you're from, some of them you could even drive with your for the first 6 months with your country of origin driver's license, but the insurance is going to be 3 times more expensive. So we recommend that you, as soon as possible, if you're going to drive, you pass the Michigan driver's license because insurance is much, much cheaper. You must wait 14 days after your I-20 or DS 2019 have been activated before applying for your driver's license. So it's kind of similar to the Social Security. And if you don't want a driver's license, like I said, we do recommend that you get an ID card for $10. That way you're not carrying your passport with you everywhere. So you can just carry that ID card with you.
Yeah, and something too interesting, and I didn't add it on here because this is actually going to be a new thing this semester, is the Secretary of State's office actually has a mobile office where they pretty much have all of their processing equipment and stuff like that they can actually come somewhere and process, these state ID cards and stuff. So they will be setting up in our office at some point this semester. I haven't received fully what days and times, but we will send out an email during that time as well. So then you don't even need to worry about getting to the office. They'll just be set up right in our office. So keep a lookout for that. All right.
Oh, that's you now?
Yeah. So as I mentioned before briefly, Christian, our director, is the professor of our International Student Success Seminar. So this course is required for all new international graduate students. We normally say that it's best to take it in your first semester because, as you can see from the topics, it's a lot about culture shock and transitioning to the United States, how different laws and policies work here, and all these campus resource information things. So it would be best if you take it this semester. This semester, it is on Wednesdays from 1 to 2:50 p.m. It's only a 7-week course, and so I believe it's only January 7th to February, middle of February. So, and like I said, it's really important, especially in your first semester, to learn a lot about this information because a lot of things are different here as opposed to your home country. You should be able to register for this course in your Aleutian Experience account. However, I know a lot of students have been having issues lately with adding it manually. And so if you go down on the first floor of the administration building where the registrar's office is, you can ask them to add it for you, and you should be able to. If you do have a time constraint, though, because I know a lot of the students will have other courses that are required for their degree during this time, you can send an email to IPS and we'll let our director know to add you to it next time. Again, begins January 7th, the first week, the first Wednesday of class. And these are just some of the topics. They cover, again, pretty much everything that we'll have from here on out your first few weeks. We'll talk a lot about your immigration status and what those important pieces are. But other than that, culture shock, learning how to adapt to a new area. Obviously, the weather is a big chunk of that as well under that culture shock unit. Laws, policies, and norms of not only the United States, but Michigan as well. They have their own specific laws. Campus safety, and with that goes Title IX laws and policies, a lot on consent. And so it's a very, very important class. It's not difficult, but it's very informative, especially being new in the area.
So general expectations that the university have for you is to be on time to the lectures, the classes, meetings, social events too. So when we said, for example, if we're going to have like when we hosted Thanksgiving was from 5 to 7 p.m. So we expect you to actually be on time because the party will end at 7. So that's very much in America, like everything is very on time. Not this, I mean, and I don't know if with your friends you're going to meet on time, but with your classmates for sure. If you're going to meet for work on a project, make sure that you're very sensitive about people's time and don't make people wait. Like people really don't appreciate that here. Academic, honestly, so plagiarism, cheating, sharing codes, etc. Those are violations of the academic code. So you need to be very conscientious about that. Even like if you're going to quote, so ask your professor how is the exact way to quote, because sometimes that could be seen as plagiarism, which maybe you are not trying to commit plagiarism. So be very careful about that. The Living Guide Alcohol and Other Drugs Policy. This is a tobacco-free and smoke-free and vapor-free campus. Michigan state laws mandates that you must be 21 years older to possess or consume alcohol beverages. So yeah, make sure that you're not intoxicated in campus or anything like that. So respect the lines and other rules. Hassling, bargaining, and nagging are not permitted. Gonna have the next page. Yeah. So these are some of the campus resources. So, and this is what I think that one of the reasons why the class for Christian is very important because universities in the US also offer a lot of different things for the students. So it's nice that you will know all this in the first semester. So we have a very good student mental health and well-being center. They're located in the third floor of our building as well as in the Hamer House for the well-being, right, Farida? Yeah, and then we also have,
Yes,
yeah, Farida works
was
there as
muted.
well. So we also have our own public safety and police services. So those are located in the university as well. They're open 24/7. We have career services like Jamie explained on the same floor than us, across from us. So they will help you with your resume, with mock interviews, get ready for career fair. Like Jamie says, even if you're early, it's much better if you do it now and you experience the whole process. Then we have residence of education and housing services. We have transportation services. This year, the bus is even going to go to the ski hill as well, so you can enjoy that. We have a food pantry. Food pantry is meant for more like emergency situations, so it's not meant for a free grocery store, but sometimes the students are in need. We want to make sure like nobody stays or goes home hungry. So there is a food pantry at the university, but again, it's not being it's only for like in cases of need. No, not to become your free grocery store, you know. We also have a very large Husky clothing closet. We encourage you to go there. There's a lot of clothing there, and for even like for layers of clothing for the winter, jackets. Sometimes there's boots, a lot of like clothing that you can take for interviews. So that actually we do have a lot. So you can take as much as you want. That is located in the Watts in the basement. Um, Yes, let us know and we can give you that contact as well. We also have a student support coordinator. We have a person that is dedicated to make sure that you have a success at the university. So her name is Tiffany Yager, and that is her contact. We also have a gym that is beautiful. It has lots of machines. It also have classes. It has a sauna, a swimming pool. So make sure basketball courts, tennis. So make sure you go and exercise there too, especially in the winter. It's important that you exercise in this university because it can get pretty cold. It gets pretty cold and actually going even to the sauna, it feels much better. We have a really nice library. Most of you probably already went to the library since you have to get your ID over there, but it's located in the center of the university near the Husky statue. We also have an institutional equity, Title IX. So if by any means somebody's harassing you, you can go and put a complaint. We also have the graduate student government. So some of you will end up being probably members of it. There's a lot of students that will serve there. And we also have the undergrad student government. So both of them, students usually belong to them, depending if they're grad students or undergrads. Community resources, we have banks like the Breakwater Federal Union, Superior National Bank, Flagstar. We recommend Flagstar because it's walking distance and they're very, very easy to work for with our international students. We have cell phone companies like AT&T, Verizon, and H2 Wireless. We have, I don't know if you've seen it, but across the university, there's a yellow house called the Canterbury House. They help a lot of students, especially spouses, if they want to learn the language. They also have a free pantry. And so you might want to be part of that. There's another church that is very helpful with our international students too. It's the Good Shepherd Church. They don't have a pantry, but they do free meals every Tuesday. Hospitals, we have the Upper Great Lakes Clinic that is in the Student Development Center, so it's right here on campus. We have Portage Health, Aspiros, and we have a walk-in clinic in Houghton. So depending on what you need, like you need to know that if it's in case of emergency, you always call 911. But I mean, those are like real emergencies, right? But if you have a cold, you can just make an appointment with the Upper Great Lakes Clinic. If you have a broken bone, usually you will go to the you will not call 911. Well, it depends what broken bone, but if you just break your finger, then you just go to the make an appointment or you go to the ER. So campus involvement. So we have a lot of like fun tech traditions. So like Parade of Nations. So if you would have, that actually is in September. Then we have the Kiwanis Day, also called K Day. That is actually in September. But what is common for us is the Winter Carnival. So that will be a lot of fun. Some international students volunteer. There will be a lot of great, great statues being done with snow. Some are 2 stories high. They're quite elaborate. And we actually don't have school for 2 or 3 days that week. And it's a lot of fun. A lot of alumni will come to visit. We also have something called Global Social. That's something, again, that we do in the fall and Friendsgiving. Another fun event and activity that we will have going on is we have, I believe, 3 days that there are going to be lessons. So if you guys want to learn how to snowboard or ski, that will be really important. It's only $80, which is actually really good for what you will get. You will get the snowboard and the lesson from a private instructor. so you can learn how to do it appropriately, because it definitely makes a difference if you learn with a professional and then you try to learn on your own. So Michigan Tech is one of the only universities in the US that owns its own ski hill. So this is something important that if you want to learn, because it's free for you guys to use it. So now that we have a bus going, I think it's very important to do some winter sport. It's something that probably you're never going to live in a place where you get 300 inches of snow a year. So I recommend you that you enjoy it. And there's also cross-country skiing if you don't want the thrill of going down the hill. And there's also things like snowshoeing. You can come here and ask. There's place here at the university where all this is subsidized. So you can rent your skis for very minimal money, or snowshoes. So you don't need to buy your own skis. You can rent all this. We also have ice skating rinks, and we can rent the ice skates for very little money. We also have numerous student organizations. Most of them are by continent or by country. So we have the the Iranian Student Association, we have the African students, we have Indian students, we have Asian scientists. So there's many different. So you might want to get involved in Muslim Student Association. You might want to figure out which one you want to be involved, but we recommend that you get involved in student organizations. We also have about 300 other student organizations. So make sure that you don't feel shy of belonging to other student organizations. We recommend that. Oh, here example of some student organizations that we have: the African Student Organization, the Bangladeshi Student Organization, Chinese Students and Scholar Association, Indian Student, Muslim Student, Nepalese Student Organization, and the Society of Hispanic and Professional Engineers. And with that, I think I send it to Farida.
All right. So I'll be talking about the winter. Coming in the spring semester means that you're going to be experiencing a lot of cold, and the temperature that you'll be experiencing will be averaging between 23 Fahrenheit as the highest, and then the lowest will be around 5 Fahrenheit, which in degrees Celsius will be around -5 to -17. So be prepared. And when does the snow come? Unfortunately for the spring semester students, it comes before you arrive here, but it typically starts in November or December for sure. But yeah, so you've already seen the snow. And when does it typically melt? You'd see it melt around April or May, but typically in April. And regards to the amount of snow that we get, I'm sure you've seen already that we get a lot. And unfortunately, this is not the peak yet. It's going to get you're going to see even more. Will you survive? Yes, you'll survive. I personally am coming from a very hot climate and I like the cold now, so you'll survive. You find a way we are here to help you to acclimatize and also to adjust with the cold. It's very important to embrace it. If you constantly, hate it, it's going to be difficult, but you have to find ways to embrace it. One of the ways is the skiing and then the snowboarding lessons that Mariana mentioned, which is like finding a winter sport. And how to also embrace it is typically with what you wear. It's important to have appropriate layers. Get thermal wears, get winterproof jackets, not the water resistant ones, and get some waterproof insulated winter snow boots and some warm insulated gloves or mittens. Get a good hat, a good scarf, drink enough water because the more it gets cold, you don't even get thirsty. So it's important for you to be the one to remind yourself to drink water. And also get some vitamin D because the winter comes with less sun, and with less sun means less vitamin D. And with less vitamin D means that you may experience seasonal depression. You may experience seasonal depression, so it's important to get some vitamin D supplements.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and And another thing too that I wanted to touch on, because a lot of the topics that we talked about through this presentation, our department actually has a podcast. It's Talk a Latte with Christian and Jamie, and Farida is our lovely producer editor. And so we talk about a wide range of topics, and a lot of what we covered today, like things to do in the winter and how to get through culture shock and everything. We have a lot of episodes on things like that. We also invited other departments, or like we talked about Flagstar Bank. Katie is the branch manager over there. We had her on the podcast. And so if you go on our website, the links are on there. But if you want to reach out to the IPS email, we have it in our signature as well. But definitely reach out on there as well and listen to some of those episodes. I know we kind of made that our fun little project, and clearly, as you can tell from this presentation, I like to talk. So, podcast is perfect. But yeah, there's a lot of information on there, and it's kind of just another way to get information out there, because I know that reading isn't always the most fun thing ever. So, but otherwise, if you do have any questions, like I said, you can always reach out to us. A lot of the stuff we might not be able to help with, but we can at least try to direct you to the place where you need to go. Getting in touch with us, like I said, we are in the administration building, room 200. If you've checked in, obviously you know where we're at, but that's where you can find us if you haven't yet. But whenever you have questions, you can always just reach out in whichever way is easiest for you. So you can always email us, give us a call, or just stop in. Obviously, we like seeing you guys. So, but yeah, I know there's a lot more that can be talked about, but this is kind of the basics for right now. So does anyone have any questions about anything? And I will stop sharing here. And you can put it in the chat or unmute yourself, whichever you're most comfortable with. Download the recorded video. So I will send out this recording to the email, to your email, so you don't have to worry about that. It may take some time, but hopefully by early afternoon. Otherwise, we may post it on our newly admitted students website as well.
Hi, just one quick question. I have this course that is, if I understood correctly, is on Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2:15 p.m.
Yeah.
But I have another course, and they told me that I can't like just watch the registration. I have to be on either on campus or watching them live. So there's no way I can like do both the courses.
Yeah, that's fine. A lot of students do have time constraints there. So if you want to send an email to IPS, I can forward that on to our director, Christian, and he can work with you on getting you set up for the fall semester class.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Do I sign the original I-20? Yeah, so if you are a supported student, you will get an envelope that has your originally signed I-20 by the graduate school. You can sign it on the first page where it indicates your name. And yeah, you will put in whatever date it is that you sign it. It doesn't really matter as much. But yeah, you'll want to carry it with you. I mean, really, once you get kind of acclimated here after a few weeks in, you don't necessarily have to bring the I-20 anymore. It's really that I-94 that's important for you to carry around. So your I-20 and your passport and stuff like that, once you get like a state ID card or something, you can leave those at home. Really, the I-94 is the important one to carry with you. Unless you're traveling, of course, then you'll want to take the I-20.
Yeah, make sure you're really careful with your passport. We even recommend to buy a metal box. It's not that expensive, and you can put it in case something happens. Even a worst case scenario, your apartment catches on fire, that is fire safe. So it sounds maybe overdone, but actually it's not a bad idea to put your documents on a safe box.
Yeah.
Metal box.
Stuff like that doesn't happen often, but we actually did have that recently within the past year of, in a student's apartment catching on fire, and they lost a lot of their documents. So always want to be prepared. All right. Any other questions? Otherwise, if you check in and you have more questions, you can come talk to us then. Otherwise, like I said, you can always reach out to us via email during our work hours or give us a call and we'll do our best to help there. But again, we look forward to meeting you guys if we haven't already, and reach out if you need anything. And I will send out that recording shortly. Thank you guys.
Bye. Welcome.